A sword poem by our very own Zoheb. Sword in scabbard is not a sword. Sword held in hand is not a sword. Sword bouncing light is not a sword. Sword handed down is not a sword. Sword split apart is not a sword. Sword bloody red is not a sword. Sword cutting now is now a sword.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flaying, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Welcome back to Desperate Attune, everybody. On the last episode, we were doing some downtime after a very weird encounter with the nascent sorcerer Salman, who the crew awakened to his destiny through going to a very weird opera. And the result of which was that Saeeda became best friends with the newly awakened sorcerer.
No,
sorry.
I became his loyal vizier.
Yes,
I'm not his friend. I'm his trusted confidant.
Loyal
Who will
vizier.
never turn my back on him.
Who is Salman and why do they all like him?
Yes. So he's a member of House Ankayat, or he was a member of House Ankayat before awakening to his destiny and becoming some sort of rogue agent. Mm-hmm. So he was a young noble, he was adopted because he had a special destiny, you see, and then the special destiny caused him to run amok. And,
as you do.
Yeah. As with all gifted children.
As with all gifted children, indeed. And thereafter, we went into some downtime after this very hectic time. The crew retreated to recover from their injuries and to continue researching the Falling Star Sword School, the sword school of basically upper-class snobs who think that they know martial arts better than our Kethrisi heroes of the Rising Moon School, and they are, to be honest, they're not completely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they are actually, at the moment, better than us.
No. See, they're a little bit wrong, and from that, we shall begin.
Yes. Related is also that during the score to awaken Salman's destiny, the crew had a run-in with a fellow named Hambirao Klev. Yeah, member of the Klev family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whose sword Bidrohi stole to give to Moss. And he's not best pleased about this. Yeah. Unfortunately, unrelatedly, your cohort, Pilot and Murad, so the two NPC members of the sword school, at the same time insulted Turzan Diamond Tooth, who is also a master martial artist. And so you have now pissed off 2 separate master martial artists of the same sword school and are planning a score to do something about it. What was discussed last time in brief was to, I believe, bait some sort of trap for Hambirao, having figured out that as he works for House Ankayat, he's not fully protected by either the house or by the sword school that employs him. But you have done very little prep to deal with Turzan Diamond Tooth at all. So.
Wait, do we have to deal with Diamond Tooth? We haven't done anything. Oh, right, because the...
No. Yeah, our guys have definitely done something.
Yep.
Yeah, specifically Pilot and Murad left him a threatening letter telling him not to slander Ramu, Bidrohi's father.
And also to eat shit.
No, and also to eat shit, yes.
I think they put some dog shit in his mailbox or something.
Yes, yeah. There was a message and there was some dog shit.
There was a lot of shit involved thematically.
It wasn't to eat shit. It was just to look at shit. I don't know, but it was not good. I guess is what is important.
It was very shit themed. Shit was like the cornerstone of the message.
Yes.
I'm sure what happened here is they told him to eat shit and also provided the meal.
Yes.
Ah, that's very thoughtful of them.
Yes.
This is how Pilot and Murad roll. They are thugs. They're not paid to think. So,
but clearly they have thought, and it was thoughtful of them. We should give them a raise.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Indeed. And so you had done some downtime, you had done some amount of prep, but we are basically in the phase where you can gather some information and figure out how exactly you are going to deal with this, because there are 2 angry swordsmen who are going to deal with you unless you deal with them first, basically.
What if we said sorry?
Yeah, valid.
I
can take this in a different direction.
I veto this decision.
Yeah.
We are not permitted to
sorry.
apologize to those fuckers.
I will point out that Moss began with the outlines of a plan to try to deal with Hambirao somehow while he is on a job for House Ankayat, where he would be not necessarily legally protected by either one or the other. And you also found out that Omid is out of his hospital stay and a possible component in your scheme. Just bring back
Does Omid have any pre-established beef with Hambirao, or is this just someone we can involve?
We haven't found out, but you can gather information about it if you want.
This Omid fellow, he's got beef everywhere.
Yes.
That's true.
He's got beef, he's got poultry, he's got it all.
Uh-huh.
I did not like that one.
Okay, fair enough.
Didn't he used to attack farms? Wasn't that one of the things that
he did?
He probably did get the beef, actually.
All right.
But yes, I think we haven't established anything about Omid's connection to Hambirao, but it's definitely something that you can look into, and we'll find out if there is such a connection.
You know what else we haven't established, Prince? Who we are.
Yes. Introductions. I keep forgetting about the introductions. Okay, I'll fix this in editing. So.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with introducing us 15 minutes into the session. It's okay.
I guess so.
It's a cold open, I believe.
Yes.
So anyway, we are Desperate Attune. I'm Prince, GMing this story about the family of Kethrisi refugees in the dark and foreboding city of Uduasha. And with me are Emma.
Who sounds like this today?
Yes, very good.
You sound normal, Emma.
Klow.
I know!
Yeah.
My name is Klow. Yes, hello.
Yes. Aadiyat.
Hello.
And Tree.
Anna, namaste.
Yes, hello, I'm Tree.
There we go. Okay. Introductions having been dealt with, and the recap having been dealt with, I am very curious to see what you're going to do today.
Very good question. This is a very good question, and wait, where should you go? She just said namaste and then left.
That's not how that works.
That is not how Namaste works.
True, you can't just say namaste and leave.
Sorry, my internet's being weird. But also, of course, you can say namaste and leave.
You can, in fact, say any other word.
Yeah.
Preceded by leaving.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, Namaste.
You can't culturally appropriate namaste away from me. That's misogyny.
I think that saying namaste and leaving is usually preceded by saying namaste and staying for a bit.
Yes. There is a famously confusing Swedish homonym about this, because a very common Swedish greeting to say hello sounds like ciao, which bothers Italians because it has the opposite meaning. But anyway.
Okay. I think we should have an in-character meeting.
We should.
Yeah. And yeah, you can deal with this through a score, or you can deal with this by apologizing and giving Hambira his sword back.
No, we're not apologizing for anything.
I only proposed apologizing. I never proposed giving sword back.
Ah.
I don't think we're apologizing either. Because first of all, we didn't do it. You know.
No, sorry, we can apologize for dog shit in mailbox. That's like not totally crass, bro. That's not
we didn't do anything about Diamond 2. That wasn't us. I'm not apologizing for that. Yeah.
That was literally us, but okay.
Okay,
Well,
guys,
it wasn't
let's
me.
sit down together and okay, I guess we're actually having this discussion in character.
Yeah, no, we're in it now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are we? We're in our former smithy now.
No, listen. Pilot and Murad, I have told them to go get chai, but like I told them to go get chai from like the chai shop in like Pasarhan 2 that I told them that I'm like crazy about. I made one up, so they will be busy for several hours trying to find this chai shop. So
wait, we're not getting chai?
Yes, there is chai already here. Okay, what they are going to do is they're going to search for fake fictional chai. Here I have real chai for you because I care about you very much, my friend. Okay, but listen. The reason I told them to fuck off, I sent them on this wild chai chase is because they have fucked up, like totally. They like put some shit into Tarzan Diamond Tooth's like mailbox, and I'm like, okay, why? And then Murad was like, Ramu was a great man. And I'm like, these two things do not follow together. But clearly, if you think they follow together, there's no point speaking to you. So I'm speaking to you guys instead. This is like really fucked up situation. Really fucked up. I mean, Tarzan Diamond Tooth is like, wow.
Yeah, we saw him in front of the Coliseum, right?
Yeah,
he was very wow. The thing that he does with his teeth. Oh.
Then the thing, okay, so you have seen the thing he does with his teeth, which is of course like pretty wow. I mean, we all know this, but I don't think Sherekhatam that you have seen him do the thing he does with his sword. That's like, wow.
It is. No, he did that for us too, and it was pretty wow.
I'm talking about the part where he like cuts you in half.
All right, so we need to find a way that we can deal with him in such a way that he doesn't wow us with his sword.
Yes.
I am in favor of this.
Yes, it's that is in the nutshell.
Can we convince him that it was a gift of manure or something?
I mean, it's possible, but do you want people to... Okay, here's the other thing. Okay. Now, obviously, you know, we have a reputation to maintain. We want to, you know, we want them to know who we are, take us seriously and all of that. But do you want people to associate us with like the kind of people who put shit into people's mailboxes? I don't know about you, but I'm trying to have a sex life, okay?
They're trying too hard to have a sex life, if you ask me.
Okay, so I don't need to be handicapped with shit smearing reputation, okay?
So, my children, I wish to, at this point, interject, merely because we seem to be going in circles. And whenever young Bidrohi's sex life comes up, I feel that we have reached a dead end, so to speak. What you're telling me is that out of some misguided loyalty to a man who genuinely was murdered by some random old man, our students, such as they are, have gone to provoke perhaps the most dangerous and flashy swordsman of the Falling Star, and there is nothing that we can do about this.
I mean, that's broadly correct, Auntie, but there are some few important things, such as, okay, so he is definitely most flashy, but not most dangerous. There are more people more dangerous than him, which is also a problem, of course. And the other thing is, I mean, maybe we can do something about it. But I don't know what.
Well, lucky for you, I and young Mushfiq here have been working, haven't we, on some way to deal with the Falling Star School. Maybe we can make these two things dovetail together. Because I don't know, Emma, if Moss has told Saeeda about her efforts also in this direction.
I mean, we've had the discussion that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, and I think she would have implied strongly.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
She's
So
doing research.
I think in that case, actually, they will say, not just young Mushfiq, in fact, Moss also. Really, the only person here who has not been concerned is, the person more concerned with his sex life.
Well, that's not entirely fair. Bidrohi is being concerned with it now. He's called this meeting.
Also, my sex life is like a very intricate project, several years in the making, okay?
And yet somehow yet to bear any fruit.
What? What are you talking? What?
Listen. You make it all too complicated with your flashy clothes and that ridiculous flowered crown, right? You know, all you need is to project confidence, right? That's all you need, right? Like, listen, Bidrohi. Imagine that the girl you like, right, is standing right here, and Mushfiq sort of makes a silhouette, kind of with his hands near a wall, right? You just look at her dead in the eyes. You approach her. You put your hand on the wall next to her, and you just say, "Girl, you and me, we're going out." And in that moment, as her heart starts to beat faster and faster, she'll be enthralled by just the sheer audacity of you doing this. You don't need anything else. I think
you throw fire at quite a lot of audacity, so I'll give him that.
Okay, so that's Bidrohi's sex life sorted out. Good meeting, guys.
I fully agree that this is great strategy you're proposing, but it doesn't work if my hands are full of shit, okay? Or at least people think my hands are full of shit. Okay, can we get Pilot and Murad? First of all, let's get Pilot and Murad and get them off. I don't want this to be a phase, okay? I don't want this to be a new trend where every time someone's where we have problems with them, that they start putting shit in people's mailboxes, okay? I'm going to do that first. I'm going to go talk to them and tell them shit is not cool. I will have that difficult conversation with them because I care about this team.
It does seem to me that if this is something we need to say out loud, then we may be having more profound issues. I'm sorry to say this. I think that you youngsters may be, in the parlance, how you say, fucking it up.
Okay, we work with what we have. We work with what we have, and currently we have Pilot and Bolt Murad. And they are dog shit. It is true. No one denies this. They are what we have. There's no one else, and then he says this, and then he kind of visibly thinks about actually, okay, there may be someone else. I will go speak to them too.
Or maybe we can make this work. Listen, I don't think there's any way to deny that we have something to do with this because Paul Murad and Pilot they signed our the name on it, and it was very clearly us. But maybe not. But it wasn't all of us. It was them. And well, as you said, they're dog shit. So maybe we get them to go to Diamond Tooth and say that actually there was a misunderstanding. What we were trying to say is that they were dog shit and they were hoping to become as good a swordsman as him. That's the message.
Shere Khatam.
No.
Do you really propose this? Sorry,
no.
Emma, you speak.
Either that or they simply apologize.
Also, no.
I am with Auntie here. We are the captains. Okay?
I'm not. Listen, all I need to know. I'm not apologizing because I didn't do anything. But they definitely did do something.
Okay, fine. No apologies. But Shere Khatam, you have been operating on your own for so long as like cool badass man in jungle that you forget that when we are in team and our underlings go forward and apologize to like big bosses of our other organization and they're like, oh my god, we totally fucked up, then that looks bad on us. Okay? Unfortunately, this whole shit smearing thing, we have to own it. It's us. That is why I'm going to talk to them, because like this sort of thing, it can't happen. But like, it's too late to do anything about that. When we can't send them over to Diamond Tooth, I mean, what if Diamond Tooth just kills them? That's also pretty bad, No, Shere Khatam. It's unfortunately that is not going to work. We're going to have to deal with Diamond Tooth, unfortunately, in some other way. I mean, he's going to come here and try to kill us, I guess. Maybe the 5 of us. Maybe the 4 of us. 6, if we include Balmurad and Pilot, we can fight him off. Maybe, but he's probably going to come with friends.
I'm going to interject here about that, actually.
But he won't come with friends.
It's because you guys set yourself up. You did a score to prepare this hit on the Falling Star School. So I think you don't have a lot going for you here, but one of the things you do have going for you is you specifically did prep for how can we disrupt them without drawing down the wrath of the entire organization.
That's true.
So you have, I think, the knowledge of how to isolate Hambirao, and probably you can use that to some extent to like try to isolate Diamond Tooth as well. This was an insult personally against him. So I just want to make that clear that like mechanically and in fiction, you do have this ability slightly to like catch them out alone, more or less at least.
Bidrohi, if you recall, when we were asking Diamond to show off his skills for us, he very clearly said there is no team in I. So I think he'll be coming alone.
That's true. But then, like,
alright, so we do isolate him.
Yeah. So I think that what I will say at this moment is it seems that none of you really have any clear idea what you want to do. So this is what I propose. We approach this man in broad daylight, but when he is not near any of the rest of his school folk. We challenge him to a duel in the old and proper style, and then we beat the shit out of him, but do not kill him. That way, we will solve nearly all problems, and we will give everyone, a reason to look away if they would like.
Okay. This is definitely a good plan, Auntie. I agree with this, and I volunteer to duel.
Oh, Bidrohi, you are not dueling.
No, Bidrohi, you got this. I say because I'm still burnt. Like,
Mushfiq, kindly do not encourage the death of our fellow schoolmates. Bidrohi, he will kill you.
This is, I am 100% aware, is very likely possibility. But like, anyone that he faces, he will probably kill. So...
Incorrect.
Oh?
For you see, I have an obligation to some people who will not permit me to die. And as a result, it is likely that I am best placed.
You wish to fight this man, Auntie?
The fuck does that mean, Auntie? Are you saying you can die because you owe people money?
Well, actually, what she's saying is I can't die because I appear to have like a demon in love with me who will take it very ill if anybody except it destroys me.
Oh.
Yeah, but like,
Well,
I don't
if
think
Diamond
Bidrohi
Tooth is
knows.
Yeah, no, you don't know it. You don't know that, to be clear. But I think that what Bidrohi, I think what she will say is, I don't owe money as much as I owe my very soul and being. And while I'm attempting to wriggle myself out of that, I think in this case it will be more of an advantage than a disadvantage. If
Auntie,
Diamond Tooth or no, go on.
Auntie, if you're saying that you can't die, then and Mushfiq just points at you, and he's trying not to say like an old lady like you, but someone like you can defeat Diamond Tooth. That will save our reputation for sure.
That's what I think too.
See, Bidrohi is like thinking about this, and he's got a few motivations here. A big part of the motivation, let's be honest, is that he'll feel very
It's cool
sad
if he does the thing. Yeah.
It'll be really sad if you die, but also mostly it's important. It'd be really cool if he did the thing.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to try to take your place during the score.
Okay. It sounds like we have a plan to deal with Diamond Tooth. Are we leaving Hambirao as a later problem?
Oh, no. And I'm actually thinking that what I want to do is challenge Hambirao, but get him to name Diamond Tooth as his second, so that they are both in the score, but they are kind of not being challenged as a... it's not like I'm attacking the entire school, I'm just attacking one person. And like he happens to choose Diamond Tooth, and it's technically personal.
Okay, I think since you did this score of setup of trying to figure out how their internal politics work, I think it's feasible that you can do this.
Okay.
Because again, you did do a project to figure out how the internal politics work. We didn't establish what sort of relationship Hambirao and Turzan have. But I guess if this is how you want to play it, then I guess they are friends. I guess we learned that now.
I mean, they're in the same school.
Yeah, they are. But they could be in the same school and be rivals for all we know. But I guess we are now learning that they're not, right? So.
Well, you can be a rival with someone who's your second. Yeah. I mean, we can set. I mean, maybe we can't get to the second. We might have to make some sort of rule to arrange it exactly the way we want. But I think broadly speaking, the idea seems fine that we try to fight them both. In fact, I think what Bidrohi is going to suggest is since we're going to fight.
So your solution to having two ridiculously dangerous swordsmen after you is just to fight them both at once.
Yes. And Bidrohi is since we're going to fight them in broad daylight, why not we go all the way? All the fucking way. We do it in the sands of the arena, in the Coliseum itself. I can arrange.
You can?
Yes, I have friend in House Anrakhis.
And this would be better.
It would be really cool.
It would be harder to help. Would it not? If something goes wrong.
You mean rig the thing in our favor? Like cheating?
If it comes to it.
Of course, that's what Moss means, Bidrohi. You understand that even though I cannot die, that doesn't mean that I cannot be split in half, right? I will just continue to live despite being split in half.
I'm not inclined to let that happen.
I'm glad to hear it.
Which is why I am concerned about this arena idea.
It's a pickle. I mean, it would be very cool. And if we pull it off, then it will make our reputations for the rest of our lives.
Okay, I'm gonna say out of character that Mushfiq absolutely will cheat, but he's just not going to say anything about it now.
Uh-huh.
Like,
So-
because Mushfiq's cheating is more, I guess, improvisational cheating.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
I think let's wrap the scene here and take this out of
Yeah.
character because I think
Yeah.
we've arrived
That's
at it. So the question is whether to do this in the official arena or elsewhere, and I think this is something that you can arrange. Like you can choose this. It's
Yeah.
someone chooses the weapon, someone chooses the place, yada yada. You can engineer to
Yeah.
have yourselves choose the place. I think that is
I
fine.
think I think it is a stupid, but I think we should do it in the Coliseum. I actually think the reason
I agree.
that maybe we shouldn't is for someone like Moss, who isn't directly martial. I wonder what she would do during the school, and it might be something like that. Might be something we need to figure out.
The Coliseum has crowds, I assume.
It's got
Yes,
crowds,
absolutely.
Yes.
and it's also possible that we can like, because we don't know what the actual terrain in the Coliseum is. I mean, mentally when we say Coliseum, I suppose we imagine the sands and just nothing else. But it
But,
could be
yeah,
that
I
we
mean-
can arrange like terrain, make
Prince
it like
did
a whole
just
thing.
say, yeah, Prince did just say someone chooses the location, so maybe there's a few arenas to choose from.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, Prince, what do you mean by someone chooses the weapons? Do you mean like if I were to choose the weapon, I would choose it for both teams?
I don't know. We haven't established how this is how duels work. Like this is just
Okay.
commonly how duels work. That someone decides the weapons and someone decides the location, and sometimes they're the same person, and sometimes they're different. There's a whole lot of dueling tropes like this, right? So we haven't established how this works in Uduash at all. So
Yeah.
we can establish
Okay.
it now.
Okay.
And if you're leaning towards gladiatorial combat, then there's a whole vibe of like, asymmetry, people having different weapons and so on that draws the crowds through.
Okay. I have an idea for cheating. I'm not gonna say what it is yet.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine.
Is it banana based?
It is not banana based.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay.
Yep. I actually forget now. Where in Uduasha is the Coliseum?
It's not actually in any of the districts as such. It's more like an interstitial space. Let me
Okay.
find the map again. Just give me a second. We haven't
The
actually used the map.
Coliseum. Yeah, the Coliseum only exists when House Anrakhis wants it to exist.
I see.
No. It's somewhere between Pasarhantu, Ashcluster, and Shittisprut. And
Okay.
Kalazarania.
Interesting location for it.
Near
Yeah.
the moneyed locations and so on.
Near the moneyed locations. All right. So Coliseum near the moneyed locations. And my suggestion is that we don't make issuing the challenge part of the score itself, because you did a whole 6 clock project to manipulate the sword school.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the interest of brevity, let's also have that 6 clock. I'll give you for free that 6 clock lets you manipulate them into dueling you. It's easy enough, honestly. Tursan just wants to kick your ass anyway, so.
Yeah.
So alright. So who is actually dueling you and who is the second? Hambirao is the duelist and Tursan is the second?
Yes.
Or
I think so.
okay.
I think
Yeah.
because the reason I say this is that I think that if Turzan was the duelist himself, we would be fucked.
Yeah. I can sort of see it. Like Turzan is obsessed with his own self-image, and he would probably prefer to kick your ass himself. But probably what happens is that Hambirao will like petition him for a favor that like, no, brother, let me do it. Please, let me do it. And
please,
he'll be
please let me
badgered
do
into
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And he'll be
Please, can
badgered
I
into-
like beat the peasants up?
Yeah. Uh-huh. So I guess that they are on fairly good terms, and it's one of those like only one of them can do the actual deed. But it will be Hambirao in this case.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
So what you will get for free is a duel with Hambirao in the Coliseum. Turzan is also there, and there will be an audience. And it probably actually won't be like a huge audience. I don't think this is
It's not
probably-
necessarily like a no go.
It's not the event of the year, right? It's not like ancient rivals. It really is like some upstart peasants are gonna go there and get their asses kicked. Should be good for a laugh. I think that's the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if we did something before the score to like really get the audience going?
You can absolutely do that. I think you can acquire audience as an asset. or something like this.
Oh. Acquire an audience as an asset. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just framing what would be the default, right? The default here would be they will agree to kick your ass, and they are not going to hype it themselves because like this is a formality to them. Like they have been insulted, they are going to put you in your place, and if anyone wants to watch, cool. But we're not going to like hype it. It's not a big spectacle.
Makes sense.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
Does anybody mind if I quickly use a rep to finish up my healing clock? Because then I will be harm free, which seems important for this. Okay.
Yeah, I should also do the same. I'm kind of bruised.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in this case, it's very much just people are gonna really see her breathing uneasy, being an old woman, and it doesn't do great things for our image, right? Until Saeeda kind of gets a hold on it. So yeah. That's it.
Okay. So, do you want to gather any information or acquire any assets?
Oh, if we're healing, maybe I'll heal as well because I'm burnt, but not too bad apparently. So let me do that.
Oh, by the way, Aadiyat, are you taking notes?
Oh yeah, I was, but a lot of it was just us waffling.
Yeah.
Okay. How many die am I rolling for healing? 1, right?
0, because you're still tier 0, unfortunately.
We don't get anything for our contact?
Oh yeah. Yeah, forget. You have a physician. You have a healer contact who you invoke during downtime. So yeah, take a bonus die for her. So roll 1 die to recover. And does Saeeda need to roll to recover, or do you just have...
Oh no, I was 1 tick away, so it doesn't matter what I roll. I mean...
And Mushfiq rolls a 4, which is what he needed to recover as well. So
yeah.
Alright, resources invested. That's good, because you are likely to take on some injuries in this setup. I mean, I will flag for you that what you're doing is pretty fucking crazy, but you're not taking on Turzan directly, at least, so...
you say this now. I feel like we are... Like, what is the likelihood that we don't fight him? It's very low, right? Like, we're stupid enough to make this happen.
I just want to point out, I did not establish this NPC. You did, and you are the ones who said he is terrifying as all hell.
Oh yeah, no. Let us definitely not imagine that I have not dug this hole for myself, for I have.
Excellent.
Great. I do have a gather info I want to do, but I'm happy to go after other people.
I want to have a quick conversation with Moss. But that's not going to be gathering for... I mean, it could maybe quick or maybe not. So it's a scene. That's alright with everyone?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Alright, cool.
Go ahead.
So wait, hang on. Hambira is also going to turn up here, right? Like, there's going to be... So we're going to be fighting both of them in the arena.
So he's the actual target.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
There's a Diamond Tooth is the second, so he may join or may not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. And I think part of the reason for this is it doesn't look good on their end if they're like, oh, there needs to be 2 of us to deal with these peasants. Like that, that just makes them look less cool. So it's better in their if only one of them fights. But, you still have a second because that's how you do. That's just the formality.
Yeah, that is how... Yeah, exactly. You can't not have a second. That's even worse. It means you don't have friends.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're the coolest swordsman in the world, you might have a cold on the day and need your second to step in or something. That shit happens.
Yeah, also true. Yeah.
Okay, I think so. I approached Moss. Not sure where. Probably somewhere away from both the rest of the sword school and also our family.
Probably after the conversation that just happened.
Yes. It makes sense to follow on immediately. I see. Sister, you seem very disquieted by the idea of having this showdown in the Coliseum.
But I'm disquieted by the idea of having it at all.
It's true, it's very risky, but it seems that, our hand has been kind of forced here. And, we need to do something like this, like something really big and kind of crazy and reckless to kind of, wipe away the reputational stain, Like, everyone still, thinks about Rising Moon's sword school as, bunch of, morons. because of my dad. Well, we need to do something like this, I think. Sorry, G, were you saying something?
Oh no, I'm just laughing at because of my dad.
Yes.
As like the reason that we're in this situation. And you're not wrong, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. So like we need to do something, but like
It's of course not true.
Sorry, you were saying?
It's of course not true. But I understand you feel that.
I mean, I don't know. I think it is pretty true. Like, okay, maybe I hear it more because like I am his son, but like everyone's always talking about Ramu the little bitch. And then they're like, oh look, it's Bidrohi, little bitch's son. And I'm like,
God, people say this?
Oh yeah. I mean, they also say, look, Bidrohi, he's very sexy. But like they also say the other thing.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway. But I admit I am also nervous because like, as I said, Uzan Diamond Tooth is like, wow. Okay. And like, there's also the other sword masters, the other ustas, they're also like, wow.
Yes.
And also like, you, like, I heard that that auntie has like some weird, like sort of like, will they, won't they, frenemy, hate crush thing going on with like Ustad Jaiklev, and that man is like, wow. Okay, so like, you get what I mean. Like, I don't know, things can get very strange and very like difficult, and like maybe we're biting off more than we can chew. So I am also worried about how we can make sure that auntie doesn't like get like just killed, or like doesn't kill Hambira, and then it's like, okay, I will fight Tours and Diamond. Also like Ustad Jaiklev, there you are, you fucking bastard, I will kill you too. I don't know. Anything could happen. Right? So I'm just worried. And I think we should do something to make sure that yes, things do go in our favor. But I'm not sure what. It's very public.
I've been thinking about getting into the arena early and arranging the terrain in our favor.
Okay. That's a very good idea. I can arrange that. As I said, I have someone who's like, I have a guy in House Anrakhis. They own the Coliseum. I can make this happen. This is good. Second thing I wanted to talk to you about. Turzan Diamond Tooth is second for Hambira, okay. Who is the second for auntie? It's either myself.
I could do it.
It's a private conversation. You're here.
I've been here the whole time, hiding behind the crates.
Okay, Shere Khatam, get out here. I'm talking about you.
No, sorry. Wait, where are you having this conversation?
Somewhere with crates, apparently.
Sorry, no. Oh, no, don't mind me with Ray. I didn't hear anything. Continue having your private conversation.
It's okay, Shere Khatam. We know, okay, auntie is going to be the first duelist. That's cool. But like, there has to be second as well, right? And like Mosapu, I mean, I assume you don't want to be it.
I prefer to do it because it wouldn't put you or Mushfiq in the situation. But I am also aware that I'm not the best person for the job.
Okay, Mosapu, that's very cool, very heartrending, and like the sort of like emotional stakes that I expect from our family. But like, please don't do it.
I know.
Okay. And like, it speaks to how worried I am that I'm like, I don't really want to do it either.
Okay.
It'd be like really cool if I did it, but like, I mean, what if something did happen to me? That would be like that would not be cool. But Shere Khatam, what if something happened to you? That would also not be cool.
Bidrohi, you put far too much value on my life than I do my own. I've already died a long time ago in the jungles of Ketris.
Jesus.
Okay, Shere Khatam, that is also really cool and like really ups the emotional stakes in this situation.
All I have left is Zahir, and he's such a pain in the ass.
Oh, is he?
Sorry, what was that? Bidrohi?
Are you all right, Mushfiq?
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, had a flashback there. Yeah, I could do it.
Okay, cool. Shere Khatam, you will do it. Because you are a man with nothing to lose. No one is there in your life. No one loves you.
Damn,
Except here.
you're just
Except-
going for it, huh? I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way.
Shere Khatam, you are a man with nothing to lose, no one to miss you, no one to mourn you except us.
Yep.
So
and
that's
I mean, what? And that what does that really count for?
Exactly. Wait. Okay, so we've decided Shere Khatam's going to do it.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk to I mean, I don't know if I need to actually make a roll here or anything, but I'm going to talk to my friend Leo, the painter for House Anrakhis, and like get him to. No, actually, at this point, I think it probably is a role, right? Because I want him to help smuggle Moss in.
And, I think this is higher stakes, right? Leo is not. He's a man on the inside, but he does not want to offend his patrons. So there is definitely a role to smuggle Moss inside here.
And like even if so I think what makes sense here is should the role be at Leo, or should it like be a role that Moss makes, which I assist via Leo?
I think it's a role that Moss makes with Leo as an assistant. In order not to complicate this, let's call it a fortune roll, actually, and we'll just see how well smuggled in you can get.
Oh, interesting.
So
I approve of this.
I think this makes sense because, I think Leo can get a person into the arena, but there are differences, right? There's a difference between being beneath the stage with full access to all the secret tunnels and being like, yeah, I can get you a job as a popcorn vendor. So, so I think it's some sort of role for Moss with a +1 for Leo, and it can happen.
Cool. I'm just Libra.
I took an extra dice. Sorry, I took a stress, or should Leo just be giving you the dice?
No, I think Leo just gives the dice here. He is your good friend. It makes sense. Let's have the bonus for him apply.
Okay, makes sense. Let's do it.
I'll make a finesse roll in that case, and
nice.
It'll just be like kind of, social stealthing way in past some with some. Well, we will see actually.
Okay.
It's a 4.
Okay, so I think thinking about it with this sort of in between state, I still think the way that Leo can smuggle you inside is probably by getting you some sort of job, because this is not super well overseen. But it won't just be a popcorn vendor.
That's good.
So I think I will leave it. I'll frame it like this. Actually, I will leave it up to you, Moss, to define precisely what happens, but you are given a job and access to one part of the arena, and you can tell me which one. And people will be suspicious if you go outside of that role, but you basically will start undercover as a something.
Oh my god, it's Hitman.
Yeah. Yes. Kind of is.
Yeah. So the first thing that popped into my mind was Limelight Operator. But that might be too. That might be. I feel like Moss might not choose that because it's very, very restrictive. Although it has.
You can use the limelight to blind them.
Thank you for including limelights into this, because of course there's limelights.
Yeah.
I also wonder. I imagine. I have this idea in my head that they do just kind of rearrange the terrain. And they make a fun battle arena for every time that there's a fight, and so they have lots of people going in and out and putting an entire tree down, digging it into the ground, and moving them about. Maybe I'm sort of like that.
Okay, yeah. So you're a landscaper.
I'm a landscaper. Yes, combat landscaper.
Okay, I would like to do something to emphasize this further.
Okay.
Okay. I know. Okay, so I want to talk to Mumtaz. I mean, I assume that I don't want to get bogged down in there.
Yeah.
Which is,
yeah, I don't want to do too many scenes either here, but
yeah. Okay, we can assume that some things are talked about. Or maybe it's an actual action role together to help, right? Because things were.
What do you want her to do specifically?
I want her to kind of build the hype for this match, and I want her to build the hype for this match as like, okay, we're going to have the Falling Star School is going to face off against the Rising Moon School, a traditional sword art school from Kethris, and I want her to really. So I want her to. Because, she's obviously like really well collected and so very social and so on. Basically, the idea is if this works, then we get a Kethris-themed battlefield.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Because of her hyping it up, like basically she will tell the story of that.
Yeah, so she'll be going on about it, and so the set designers in the Coliseum will be like, oh yeah, okay, so I guess that's the theme for this.
Okay, you know what? If that's just if the goal you want her is just like Kethris theme the battlefield, then I think you can call this in as a favor because the Blue Smoke Troop are now your allies. So I don't think we need to roll for this at all. Actually, if you don't want them to do anything illegal, if you don't want to do them anything particularly difficult, if you just want to go like, I want you performers to perform and do some hype, then I think they can just do that. I mean,
okay.
They're a theater troupe, right? This is what they do. You want us to tell a cool story about the Kethris Sword School? Yeah, we might make some money off of that.
Okay.
It doesn't run counter to their interests at all, I think, to just create hype. It's what they do.
Then I think, since we're doing this anyway, let's also roll this into our acquire audience rule.
Yeah, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just roll...
So, yeah, you're acquiring an asset.
Tier with Mumtaz's help. So I'm going to take an extra dice there.
Yep.
Would anyone like to assist in this?
I feel like I could assist, being one of, since I am a, experienced combat landscaper.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll an extra dice there.
Yes.
Still just a 5.
So it's a 5.
Which means we get a quality 0, size 0.
Asset.
But
let's which is one or two people. But I think what's going on here, how I want to frame this, right, is that you get an asset which is small, but I mean you also get an asset which is to some extent professional at what it does. So I think how we represent this is that this is actually a marketing asset. Like you hire, you basically made this role for how good Mumtaz does as your marketing agent, right? So apparently she's a tier 0 marketing agent, which is understandable because she's an actress,
yeah, she's not a professional advertiser.
Yeah, she's not the manager. She's not a professional advertiser, but she will still like improve the number of people in the audience. I think, it doesn't make sense to read this strictly as like how many audience members do you get, because having 20 audience members is a lot less of an asset than having 20 thugs. So
okay, tell you what, right. I'm going to spend a coin to get her some ad space in the newspapers.
Okay, excellent. So then she is quality 1.
Yes, cool. Spend money to make money.
Yep.
Or just spend money. We'll see how the score goes.
Or just spend money in this case, yes. So, okay, cool. Getting her up to quality 1, she does a better job as an advertiser. And as I said, you can theme the arena to yourself. You can tell this story. And you will have a modest audience. Not a huge audience, but, an audience, right? There is someone hyping this now, so people will turn up and see what the fuss is about.
Okay. All right. I think there's just one concern I have with the score, which is that, so we have a thing for Saeeda, of course. She's the most important person here. We have a thing for Mushfiq. We have a thing for Moss. I don't have a thing yet. I'm not sure what my thing would be. And I don't want to like make up a thing for myself that'll just be disruptive to a very tense situation. Does anyone have an idea for an angle I could take?
I think that we could see the battle not just as like swordsmanship, but also as PR. And I think Bidrohi would be really good at like
maybe you're
like
working,
doing the shit talking, like doing an announcement. You know what you could do? You could commentate.
Yeah.
I think A, it would be incredible if Bidrohi commentated, and B, I think we would really get people on our side.
Yeah, this also gets the Blue Smoke Troop into the story, I think. That means that your theater friends are basically going to be your cheerleading cohort, so...
Oh man, Leo's lifting a lot of... He's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Good guy. Good guy, Leo.
Okay, so, Bidrohi, now I know how to frame the asset you acquired. So, Bidrohi, you have a small gang, size 1, of cheerleaders, and you are leading them. This is how we'll frame this.
Excellent.
Don't you know this?
Yeah, Mumtaz is one of them, and then you have a couple of others.
Okay, I need to get my way into the commentator box, though. We'll make that work in the score. So I will not start as the commentator, but I shall become the commentator.
I am looking forward to it.
Yes, very good. That's my score.
Infiltrate the commentator booth. I love that as a score.
Yeah, that's my mini score. Good.
Okay, get into the commentator booth. All right, then we'll find out who normally does the commentating, I guess. This is, not a world which has microphones and stuff readily available. So I think the commentating is less a person giving detailed analysis of what's going on and more a guy shouting a lot. Like,
I can do that.
Yeah. I imagine that the commentating is not like super in-depth, right? It's probably a person up at a podium whose job is basically to go like, everyone cheer, something happened. And so on.
Yay! Yeah.
Do you get to hold big signs in front of the audience?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to commentate in detail, right? So it's going to be a guy with an impressive voice shouting out what's going on, probably.
Oh. Apparently, megaphones have been a thing since the 5th century BC.
Okay, so he has a megaphone.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really take a genius to realize that if you cup something around your mouth, it kind of gets louder and more focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So I'm establishing this now about the Coliseum. There is a commentator booth and it has an enormous built-in megaphone. It's not like one you hold up. It's like a horn that is stuck in place that you shout into.
Excellent.
It's one of those lighthouse horns.
Yes, pretty much.
It is demonically enchanted. I mean, because the Coliseum is a House Anrakhis special.
Exactly. It's a House Anrakhis voice amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
So fair enough. There are no microphones, but there is the magic horn.
Which means I will sound very handsome when I speak into it. Yes,
Mm.
very good.
It also
How
means
do you
that there
sound
is...
handsome? You know what? I'm not going to ask.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
It also means that there is Anrakhis magic bullshit involved. So I'm just noting that down.
Okay.
Good.
Nothing bad will come of that.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're
cool.
ready then.
I think we are. So, 1 die for sheer luck.
Oh shit! No, sorry. I wanted to do one very quick gather info.
Yes. Excellent. Go ahead.
Which is it's a very important gather info. Which is I am gonna try to do some research on the person I'm gonna be fighting because I may die if I don't.
Yes.
One important thing there is that he's clearly related to Stajeklev.
Yep.
Yes. And so I think what I want to do is I will maybe spend a couple of days. Diamond Tooth does spend some time thrashing people for fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to be around when this happens and just study him.
So you're studying Diamond Tooth, not Hambirao. Just to make this clear.
But the reason that I'm studying Diamond Tooth is I figure if I can find a weakness in the best practitioner of the school, then surely someone worse than him. I mean, surely, right?
You're just studying.
He's not the best.
Yeah.
Just one thing. Thing is, well, maybe what you're trying to do is something different. But when Mushfiq and Bidrohi went to scout him out, he showed his form, and we did take detailed notes of his.
Oh yes. You know what? You're correct. Okay, in that case, I'm going to change this because I think now it's a skirmish, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Mushfiq and be like, okay, you are going to replicate him, and then I'm going to fight you, and then I'm going to figure out what kind of dumb shit he does.
Okay, you have a practice match. Sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is Mushfiq spending a stress to assist this roll?
I guess I am, because that is exactly what I'm doing.
Yep.
And
good.
I think practicing with Saeeda is very stressful in the fiction as well.
That is true. Yeah.
So then Saeeda rolls skirmish with a bonus dice as a fortune
Yeah.
roll to try to figure out
Mm.
the falling star sword school.
I don't figure out the falling star sword school.
Okay,
Unsurprisingly.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 3, a 2, and a 2.
Okay.
You know what happens? You know why it doesn't work? Because Sherakatam, I mean, it's Sherakatam, it's cool, obviously. Like, we all know this, but like, Diamond Tooth is just like the next level of sexy fighting.
Yes.
Sherakatam needs to work on his aesthetic.
Yes.
What it is specifically is that Diamond Tooth has the little teeth thing going on, and Sherakatam's absolutely destroyed his own teeth with ice cream.
Yeah. So, I think that the one thing you learn here actually from your favor is I looked up the falling star style. It's in the book, right? And they are famous for two things. They are famous for acrobatic leaps and movements, and also for fighting with their clothes. Like they have silk scarves and stuff. They actually fight with the sashes. And I think what you learn here is that Mushfiq can't really replicate these moves. So you have a decent sense of the sword style, and you know to expect like sashes, sleeves, like their ostentatious fighting clothes are not just for show. They have these like sashes, decorations, robes, etc. And
That
pretty
makes
much
sense.
the one piece of information you get is that that's definitely going to be used, but you're not sure how.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'm not angry. I'm not disappointed. Mushfiq, you did a great job, and you should be proud of that.
I'm a sword fighter, Andy, not a circus performer. What are these moves?
You tell him as he spits out 2 of his teeth from the ground.
So basically,
Great,
that is
okay,
the problem,
that's what I wanted
right?
to do. Yeah,
These are circus performers, literally.
Yep.
They don't necessarily fight smart; they fight flashy.
Yes. Yeah, this makes sense. I am disappointed. That's all I am. It's fine, guys.
It's fine. You'll probably survive.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to the engagement roll.
Yes.
Is this operation particularly bold or daring?
Yes.
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah, so it's 2. Is it overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't necessarily think so. You're going to cheat and kick their asses. That's
Yes.
Yeah. Seems straightforward. Does it expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? No.
No.
No, like you may be cheating, but this is their home turf. And I think in fact they have particular defenses or special preparations. It's their home turf and they are good at fighting.
This makes perfect sense to me.
So you're back down to 1 die after all of this. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight? I think this is where we factor in Leo.
Yes.
He has given you access to the arena in advance. You have some ability to flashback. You have Moss as an ace in the hole. So that's 2 dice. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in this operation? So you have 2 targets. I'm not sure whether to apply a penalty for that. I don't think so, because
I think yes, because Ustad Jaiklev is Saeeda's rival, and he is the boss of the entire organization.
Okay, then yes, I think we need to apply a penalty for this, because he wants you to lose. Why is he your rival? Why is the head of the sword school hate you personally, Saeeda?
It's because when we were young and foolish, I was like, and I came to Udawasha as a, I'd learned the Kathrihi style such as it was at that time, and I spent some months learning the sword style here, and I was like, oh, this is crap, I can do much better. And I tried and failed to humiliate him. And this is the kind of thing where it's not like I humiliated him and he has it out for me. It's that he remembers me even 40 years later. And he is like, oh, that's that little shit who tried that. That's why.
Okay, excellent. So, then Jaiklev is here. Hambirao is related to him somehow, but we haven't found out how, so that's also interesting. You lose a die for Jaiklev, bringing you to 1 die, and then they're higher tier, so you lose another die, so you're at 0 dice.
Yes.
Only exactly 0 dice, though.
So that's good, right?
Not like -1, you know?
What about having the crowd on our side?
No, you know what? I think we are representing that as a cohort. It's a thing that you can use very effectively in the score, but I don't think it improves the engagement rolls, largely because you don't necessarily have the crowd on your side yet. You have a tier 1 hype guy, but I mean, they're tier 3. Their hype guys are tier 3. You have the audience more on your side, but not completely.
Just get into that audience box, into that commentator box.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure that their hype guys actually really like them, as opposed to our hype guys who are more like, somebody told us it would be cool to be here, so we're here, I guess.
Yeah. So we are getting to the engagement roll in a second, but before we do that, let's take a break after the engagement roll. But before the engagement roll, let us actually establish some things and set the scene a little bit. So the Falling Star Sword School is the Uduashan native sword fighting style. It is posh, it is urban, and it is showy. It's meant for show fighting. This is your rival sword school because you are from the Rising Moon school of Kethris, which is much more like salt of the earth, defend your farm against bandits kind of fighting style, correct?
Sounds about right.
And so what I want to establish is just a little bit setting the scene. So we'll go around the players, starting with, I think it's interesting to start with Moss answering this question, actually. So we've set the battlefield up to be Kethrisy. What does that actually mean? What does that look like? What's the... Yeah.
Well, what I was imagining was that in Kethris you'd be fighting always with water nearby, probably on some sort of boardwalk. And I think at least the boardwalks are the kind of like bridges and stuff are represented here.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of boardwalks and bridges and stuff, and if you fall off them, you fall in the mud, I guess. It would be too expensive.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it would
be... Moss's full name is Moss on the Rung that breaks your ankle. So you're fighting on slick footing a lot, and that's not for no reason.
Yeah. Okay, so slippery boardwalks, mud underneath. If this were actually Kethris, this would not be mud, but like a bog. But they can't magically change the arena's ground. So
I like this. That's good.
Absolutely. And so, moving on to Mushfiq. What sort of weapons are used? You wanted to like pitch this in a little bit, but if you have an idea, then go for it.
Okay. I don't want to say too much ahead of time. I think this is just going to be a straight up sword fight, right? Like I don't think there's going to be.
Yeah. There's no strangeness about the weapons as such. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, not yet. I have just one question for Emma and Zoheb, which is, how attached are you to Hambi Rao's sword? And would you be okay with something happening to it?
I assume Emma is looking for any excuse to get rid of that fucking thing.
Possibly.
I think Moss is looking for any excuse to get rid of that thing. I think it's cool, but I also think it's cool if like something happens to it.
Okay, all right. That's all I need to know.
Okay, so
let's say that it's with me for.
Yes.
Yeah.
My response to it is that if you can like use it in some sort of ironic twist of fate against its owner, then that would be like really cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let me then reshape this question for Mushfiq a little bit. Hambi Rao doesn't have his sword; it's with you. So what sort of sword is he fighting with at the moment? Do you think? Just like to give a sense of his style. Does he have another bejeweled sword, or does he go for something different?
No. I think this is definitely his bejeweled sword. And I mean, he belongs to a sword school, right? I'm sure they have lots of I mean, still pretty decent quality, training swords, or just I don't know. I mean, not check out like a library, but I'm sure they have swords that are practically just as good. But this is his bejeweled sword, so.
I mean, he's a South Asian inspired swords guy. He's probably got 7 swords.
Yeah, fair.
But can we say? Yeah, but this is his special sword, right? Like this is the one he carries all the time. Okay.
Yeah, the one you stole is his special sword. So I'm asking you, what sort of backup sword does he have? I guess.
I guess just I think he just brought a clean one. I think maybe he'd be so arrogant that he'd be like, these upstairs, I'm just gonna grab like any old sword from.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I think, if I may, I think it may be one of those like sort of like a yatagan or something. Like it's like purely offensive. There's like next to no hilt on it at all. Because he doesn't expect to be defending.
Yeah.
but this thing will slice you open.
Make sense.
Okay. All right.
A question for Saeeda, then, as we establish the Coliseum. What signs are there of House Anrakhis' magic?
So House Anrakhis is the House of Laughter.
Yeah.
And I think the Coliseum has two things that set it apart as a place of like kind of magic, but also magic entertainment, right? And I think the first is that it is made from the obsidian black stone of the mountains, like behind Uduasha, right? Like the Ashaval mountains.
Yeah.
And they are even in the heat of the day, they are ice cold to the touch. And this is actually why the Coliseum, one of the arenas is ringed entirely in it, because it's a very valid tactic to kind of just like push someone against the wall, and then they will just like get freezer burn, right?
Yeah.
I think the other thing is that the commentary box, the reason they don't use megaphones is that there's runic warding so that the person who is at the commentary box, whatever they say can be heard throughout the arena, even without needing to like really make an effort.
Okay, cool. So sorry, what did you say about this black stone? I missed a word there. Razor burns?
Freezer burn? It's like when something is so cold it burns you, right?
Freeze. Okay, that's the word I missed. Yeah, so cold stone circling it. And that's very cool, actually, because it fits with the image I have in mind. And I guess I'll introduce my detail here before we go on to Bidrohi's. And it is that Uduasha is a dry place, generally. It's in a desert. It's in a black desert. But this is the Shattered Isles, and it's not like it never rains. And I think to go with this Kethrisi theme and everything, it's actually a rainy day when this takes place, which may have been deliberate from the planners, right? The demon houses can predict the weather fairly well, and they were like, okay, fine, it's a Kethris theme, we can roll with this. Let's set it on a day when it's raining. Nice. And so there's going to be like frost and ice gathering on these black stones.
Yeah, just ask House Ankayat what the weather will be, or ask them to make the weather.
Yeah, so it's going to be raining as this sets about. And my last question, it's kind of two questions for Bidrohi. And they are related. They are, what is the normal audience of the arena? Do you think what's their vibe, and what's the vibe of yours, the ones who've been drawn here by the Blue Smoke Troops advertising campaign?
Okay. Before answering that question, I also wanted to point out on the subject of House Anrakhis and like the stones. The Coliseum is right next to the Demon Spire of Rakhis.
Yep. So there is a gigantic tower looking down on all of this that's going on. And there's probably some of the audience, some of the members of the actual house watching from up there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. So
they have opera glasses so they can see what's going on.
Yeah. I like the idea of like the Coliseum actually being built from the stone, like a kind of like, sort of like, it kind of slopes up, and then there's the sharp drop, and like on the kind of downward slope, they built a hollow, and then they kind of like built the Coliseum there. But as to the audience, so I think normally, traditionally, the Coliseum has been like one of the most important sources of entertainment in Uduasha, and like kind of like how the Roman Colosseums would work, right? You have like the masses, but you also have the nobility and so on show up.
Yeah.
And I think like increasingly over time, it's been seen as kind of like a crass sort of like lowborn sort of thing, which is a bit difficult because obviously it is under the direct patronage of one of the noble houses. So I think most of the matches that happen here, most of the games that happen here, it tends to draw like the working class and like traditionalists and like diehard fans of like various classes. And I think like sometimes the people from the noble houses, they kind of show up because they kind of have to, but otherwise it's like that kind of vibe. And I think on this particular day, because it's just okay, Kethris, do you guys know what Kethris is? Oh, Kethris, it's like, oh, they have sword schools there? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like just a bunch of random schmucks would normally show up to this. Not that many. And however, I think we have managed to draw in a crowd of people who are there because so there's going to the terrain is interesting, it's exotic, but also there are very, very sexually attractive people as cheerleaders.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the fans of the Blue Smoke Troop have showed up.
Yeah. Makes sense. So they are probably a different crowd. They usually hang out up in Ash Cloister and don't watch sports so often and are more preferring the weird entertainment forms that go on up there. But yeah.
So that crowd has shown up, and also the kind of people who would show up to attract the people as cheerleaders. It was like, oh, okay, that's something.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
So basically, not much of a crowd that we would like, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's a crowd.
We can work them into our favor.
And the advantage of them being Ash Cloister people is they're at least people who know how to spin a story, right? So
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think Saeeda, as the actual duelist, I think you should roll the 0 dice.
This makes sense.
So that's 2d6, pick the lowest, and
2d6 KL1. I rolled 2 6s, which means even on 0 dice, we're in a controlled position.
Fuck. Okay.
How?
Saeeda's just that good.
Okay.
There's a 1 in 36 chance of this happening.
Yeah, I will need to think about this. I so expected this to start out incredibly desperate, and then you completely ace it despite all the odds being against you. So, okay.
You know what?
I have a... Sorry, you have a suggestion too, Tree, and so you say that, and then I will say one.
Okay, you guys both suggest things, then we'll take a quick break. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just something to think about is I think Saeeda has come dressed in the traditional traditional rising moon style garb, whatever that is, and it clearly looks incredible, or at least it makes an impact. I'll think about it during the break, and I encourage all of you to do so as well. But I think that is definitely one of the reasons it's 2 6s.
Here's my
Mushfiq is also dressed like that, but he doesn't want to be. Saeeda has forced him into it.
My suggestion for why this is a controlled position is that Anrakhis looks down upon us, and he is pleased and excited and favorable to the scions of his long lost sibling returning.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed. I also have an idea, but I'll tell that to you when I get back because I am the GM. So
yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
See you in 5.
Catch you soon. Yep.
Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Soumithri, called Tree, and Emma. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next Desperate Attune.
Alright, so my plan is to have placed a booby trap in the arena and told Saeeda about it. And I have in my items a gourd of fire oil. It's a certain oil that combusts when it comes into contact with oxygen.
Yeah.
And I think that would be an excellent thing to hide somewhere in this arena. Maybe either on the boardwalks or in on like buried on like a little island in the mud or something.
Uh-huh.